Their Excellencies, the Right Honourable Dame Patsy Reddy, Governor-General of New Zealand, and Sir David Gascoigne.
Te he mauri ora. Kia kotahi mai ki te ao nei. Kia kotahi mai ki te whenua nei. Kia kotahi mai ki ngā wai erere nei. Kia kotahi mai ki te hauora. Kia kotahi mai ko tātou, kua whakarauika mai, i rungi te reo karanga, a te kāwana tianara. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia whai korōria ki a koe e ihoa o ngā mana. Tu a uri uri whā i oio, ki tonu te rangi me te whenua i tau korōria nui, matua, tama, wai rua tapu me ngānera pono, me te māngai, hei tautoko mai, aia nei, ake nei, ai.
Thank you, everyone. Please take a seat. I ngā mana, i ngā reo, i ngā iwi o ngā hoe whā. Tēnei aku mihi mahana ki a koutou. Kia ora tātou katoa. I specifically acknowledge the Mayor of Queenstown Lakes, Mr. Jim Bolt, our kuia, Mrs. Ranu Narimu, and our kaumātua, Mr. Joe Harawera. Tēnā koutou. And I offer a very special welcome to today's honour recipients. It's a great pleasure to host this investiture ceremony, especially here in Queenstown, and bring together 6 honour recipients, along with their family and friends, to recognise the contributions they've made to our country. As Governor-General, I have the authority and the privilege, on behalf of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen of New Zealand, to hold an investiture for her and to confer the honours which each recipient is entitled. An investiture ceremony is one of the most important duties I perform as Governor-General. So it's a very real pleasure to resume these ceremonies after the disruptions we all experienced through the COVID-19 lockdown. On these occasions, it's my privilege to bring together individuals who've made an exceptional contribution in their respective fields of endeavour. Some have a national public profile, others of you are well known in your own communities, but what you all have in common is the positive impact you've had on the economic, environmental, social or cultural fabric of Aotearoa New Zealand. This will be a memorable day for you and for your family and friends who have come here to celebrate with you. Ladies and gentlemen, as each recipient comes forward, I invite you to join me in thanking and congratulating them for their service to our country. Catriona McLeod will now read a citation for each recipient and invite them to come forward and receive their insignia.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a Companion of the Queen's Service Order, Mr. Gary Dixon of Wanaka for services to search and rescue. Gary Dixon has contributed more than 30 years of voluntary search and rescue service organisations. He is the Communications Advisor and Alpine Rescue Leader for Wanaka SAR. He was an advisor to LandSAR New Zealand and President of the New Zealand Mountain Guides Association. He represented New Zealand at the International Commission for Alpine Rescue, or ICAR, and the International Federation of Mountain Guides Associations, IFMGA. He facilitated Landsar New Zealand's membership into the ICAR and has developed qualification standards for the New Zealand Mountain Guides Association. He developed Wanaka SAR from a group of casual volunteers to one of the most professional volunteer alpine cliff rescue teams in New Zealand. Mr. Dixon has personally been involved in more than 200 rescue operations. Mr. Gary Dixon, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of an Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Ms. Lydia Brady of Wanaka, for services to mountaineering. Lydia Brady is an internationally acclaimed mountaineer and a trailblazer for women climbers. In 1988, she was the first woman to climb Mount Everest without supplementary oxygen and remains the only New Zealander to have done so. She has scaled Mount Everest 6 times and is the only woman to have successfully guided Mount Everest expeditions 4 times. She is a qualified New Zealand Mountain Guides Association guide. She's completed more than 20 expeditions to over 6,000 meters. She summited Aoraki Mount Cook and Mount Aspiring as a 17-year-old and made 7 first female ascents of the 10 Big Walls in Yosemite Valley, California. She also holds the first ascents of mountains in Pakistan and Antarctica. Ms. Brady is a life member of the New Zealand Alpine Club. Ms. Lydia Brady, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Ms. Tamzin Walker of Queenstown, for services to Kia Conservation. Tamzin Walker is the co-founder, trustee and chair of the Kia Conservation Trust, or KCT. She manages the day-to-day operation of the trust, develops fundraisers and coordinates Kia research projects, and is the community engagement coordinator for the Lower South Island. She developed the Kia Husbandry Manual, which has been applied nationwide. She's built relationships with South Island communities, along with international zoos that hold Kia, and has hand-raised the human-Kia conflict conservation issue with the international research community. Ms. Walker helped organize the Trust's first 2 Kia conferences and has supported the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species work associated with Kia. Ms. Tamzin Walker, please come forward. Mr. Gordon Wilson of Dunedin for services to education. Mr. Gordon Wilson worked as a teacher before becoming a Director of Youth Services for the Dunedin District Special Education Service and manager of the Dunedin Secondary Schools Partnership, or DSSP. He helped DSSP establish the BEATS, or Build Environment and Active Transport to School, study. Since retiring, he's been chair of a steering group for building a children's workforce. He has worked with the Ministry of Education to develop a secondary principal refugee steering committee. He established strong networks between mental health services providers and schools to work with at-risk youth. Mr. Wilson has been secretary of the Otago Secondary Schools Principals Association and the Otago Southland Secondary Principals Association. Mr. Gordon Wilson, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the Queen's Service Medal, Mrs. Pip McCann of Queenstown for services to the Blind Foundation. Pip McCann has supported the Blind Foundation through voluntarily raising support dogs since 2000. She has raised 10 puppies specifically selected for training as blind dogs. This role entails a significant investment of time, around 15 months for each puppy, in order to train and raise the dogs to a high standard so they're able to fulfill their role as a support animal. Mrs. McCann has also served as a volunteer fundraiser and organizer for the Red Puppy Appeal in Central Otago since 2013. Ms. Pip McCann, please come forward. Mr. Taylor Reid of Arrowtown for services to the community. Taylor Reid was involved with local government planning for 38 years, including as Borough Councillor, Deputy Mayor, and Queenstown Lakes District Councillor. He was Chairman and Treasurer of the Lakes District Museum and wrote a history of the museum. He was President and Secretary of the Arrowtown Bowling Club, Secretary and Treasurer of the Arrowtown Curling Club, and a Central Otago Bowling Committee member. He's been Charter President of the Arrowtown Lions Club, an executive member of the Arrowtown Village Association, and President of the Wakatipu Diabetes Society and Wakatipu Probus. Mr. Reid is Secretary of Arrowtown RSA. Mr. Taylor Reid, please come forward. lecture is concluded.
Our honours system is our nation's highest public affirmation of outstanding individual achievement. It reinforces values and behaviours that sustain our communities and help our nation thrive and prosper. These include service, courage, manaakitanga, and the pursuit of knowledge and excellence. By using their talents to make ours a better society, whether by service to their communities or by their leadership in diverse fields of endeavour, or their commitment to excellence in their own field of expertise, our recipients have set a fine example. To the recipients, it's been a pleasure to hear your stories today. In your own way, each of you has helped make Aotearoa New Zealand a better place to live. In some cases, your influence and the positive impact of your work has extended beyond our shores. Your actions and the stories we've heard reflect the spirit of the words of another great New Zealander, Sir Paul Callaghan, when he said, "What greater sense of fulfilment can there be but to make a difference to the community in which you live?" It's hard to make a difference in New York, but here, everything you contribute makes a visible difference. On behalf of all New Zealanders, I thank you for making a visible difference, whether by dedicating your lives to the public good, achieving distinction in your own chosen field, or inspiring others with your leadership. Please wear your insignia with pride, knowing that your contributions are recognised and valued, and others are inspired by your example. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, well, thank you. That almost brings to an end the formal part of today's ceremony. But before we do break for refreshments, I wonder if I might ask you to stand and sing with us. We'll all sing our national anthem, ably accompanied by our guitarist in the corner. Thank you.